Hey guys, it's Juan again from Physique Transformation Academy, and I just finished my prep for 2025. Now, unfortunately, this year there's no show. Reason being, I'm going away on vacation, and the timing of my vacation actually falls in line with when I should be grinding hard right to nationals. And when I come back from vacation, it's only about 3 weeks to nationals. And realistically, I don't think I could be at my very best knowing that I'm going away, and I'm choosing to enjoy life. I'm choosing to not be stuck to a meal plan, which as much as I love my meal plan, I'm going to some places where I want to enjoy the food. I want to spend time with family. I don't necessarily want to be glued to going to the gym or be stuck doing in that mindset. When you're in the mindset of bodybuilding and you're getting ready for a show, you are like a monk. You love bodybuilding and you think about nothing else. And I don't want to do it while I'm away on vacation. So this prep, easiest prep I've ever done. Started the prep at about, in the off season, I got up as high as about 266 fasted. After a few weeks of lowering the gear, I was down to the low 260s, and I officially started my prep at about 262. My lowest fasted. My lowest weight that I hit during this prep was 230 fasted first thing in the morning. I never saw the 229s. It was 230.2. So it's been a great prep. I mean, it felt super easy. It felt consistent. I think the main thing was just not burning myself out. I was only doing a maximum towards the end, and I'm not going to outline every single change I made because I take everything by feel. Every day is different for me. Some days I add extra food, some days I lower food, some days I do more cardio, some days I do less cardio. But I'll tell you what I was doing towards the end. These last 2 weeks, it was the most cardio I did, which was I was doing 2 sessions of 40 minutes on my days off of spin bike, and 3 sessions of 35 minutes on workout days. 2 days a week, I would do high carb refeeds. On these refeeds, I keep them very low fat, moderate protein, and I would go to about 800 grams of carbs. So they're about a little bit over 5,000 calories, these refeeds. And on those days, I wouldn't do any cardio at all. So that's how that kind of worked. I was aiming for about 10 to 12,000 steps a day. Realistically, I was getting between 12 and 14. Just the way my life is, I live the same day every single day. And I would just find that, hey, I end up getting between 12 and 14, and I would just kind of end up aiming for that as much as the goal was only 10 to 12. That I was hitting daily. In terms of training 5 days a week, I mainly did a push, pull, legs, off, upper, lower. That has worked amazing for me for bringing up certain body parts. Especially this was the first time during a prep that I trained legs twice a week. And man, my legs are really showing it. Like, they look freaking awesome. Strength climbed the entire prep, and I'm the strongest I've ever been at this point. So strength never went down at any point, which I was really surprised by. Especially, I would say I'm in quite good condition. I could do well at a show, but I'm in about 3 week out condition in my opinion. So that means I would still need to lose another 6-ish pounds of pure body fat to just be lights out condition, one of the best conditioned guys at a show, especially if I was going to do nationals. So I think losing that last little bit would affect strength a little bit more, but realistically, for this point, for the purposes of this prep, which was just to get as lean as possible for a vacation, to really bring in a new level of size and condition, and to see where I stood at this year, which is a little bit over 10 pounds of stage weight from last year, and now catch a really good rebound so I can be my absolute best for next year, is perfect timing for the end of this cut, seeing that my strength is at its all-time best, and now I can start the off-season well in a few weeks. So that's training. Training sessions quite short, anywhere between 45 to 70 minutes. 70 minutes more like the leg days. Those take a little bit longer. But yeah, super high intensity training. That's what I do. About 2 sets for every exercise. I don't do much volume, especially when it comes to things like chest. I only do 4 or 5 sets max work sets, and I do very little warm-up sets. I actually go right into my work sets a lot of the time, as you can see in the videos I've been releasing. So that's in terms of training. Always super hard, super intense, focus on negatives, dead stops, and just taking it all the way to failure. Now, diet-wise, calories. The lowest my calories got the last 2 weeks were on days off, on my low days. I was hitting about 2,800 calories a day. Now, at the very end, the last 2 weeks, I was doing 5 low days a week. So whether it was a day off training or most of my training days, I was hitting those 2,800 calories. And the refeeds, a little bit over 5,000 calories a day. That's not where I was the whole prep, but just the last 2 weeks, that's kind of where it ended up at. So metabolism is still quite really good, to be honest. And I attribute that to my training, just the brutal intensity of the training. We talked about cardio. We talk about, let's talk about supplements. Let's talk about gear. I don't usually talk about gear. Again, started off much lower the last 6 weeks when I've been running. I brought up doses in a very unorthodox way of using gear for a prep. I like it. I tried it this time and I love the look. 900 milligrams of test. I'm doing 450 milligrams of Mastron, 400 milligrams of Primobolan, 250 milligrams of Trinase. And I did that the last 6 weeks. I like adding Anadrol twice a week on lagging body parts. I was using Winstrol the last 4 weeks of the prep, and the past week I've been running 10 milligrams of Halo tested. So that's pretty much it. Clenbuterol, started that at about 8 weeks out. Got as high of a dose the last 2 weeks of 75 micrograms. Slowly titrated up all the way from 20 micrograms. Just the last 2 weeks, I wanted to get that nice little edge. T3 I start as soon as I start prepping. So T3 I started off at 37.5 micrograms with a mixture of T3 and T4. So T4 I'm using at about 150 micrograms, and I use that daily throughout the entire prep. I use Yohimbine. Yohimbine is a great fat burner, 10 milligrams a day. Don't need to use more than that. I do like using Basal Burn for body parts where body fat tends to stick a little bit more. So I've been running that. Another thing, nutrition-wise. So even though I don't believe in cheat meals, I do believe in finding ways to enjoy your meal plan if your body allows for it. Everybody's different. For me, I was drinking kefir every day. Kefir, so I had dairy in my diet, Greek yogurt I had in my diet, and cheese I had in my diet the entire prep. So those are things that I don't feel affected me negatively in any way. Plenty of fruit. I eat tons of fruit a day. I would say probably 5 to 7 servings of fruit a day. So I know that's another whoa, you shouldn't eat so much fruit. Honestly, I think a lot of times people just get in their head with certain dogmas, but fruit I think is one of the best things you can do to eat while contest prepping in terms of nutrition, metabolism, fat loss, hormonal health, and just many, many different things. Now, I do keep to a lower fat diet. It's just what works well for me. I wish I could eat more fats. I do enjoy fats a little bit, but I look the best and perform the best when I am on high carb. And my training doesn't suffer at all. So, even the hardest, toughest days of dieting, I still setting PRs. When I go in the gym, I flip switches, and it's just time to kill in there. And yeah, dieting does not affect me whatsoever when it comes to training. Big one this year has been sleep. Unbelievable. This is the first prep that I sleep pretty much totally normal. Now, the last few weeks, being on a little bit of trend, being so lean that you're not retaining much water, realistically, I did wake up quite a bit throughout the night, but on average, with my Fitbit, I was getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And plenty of good deep sleep, plenty of good REM sleep. So this was really making a big difference and just feeling great day to day. I find that when you're getting ready for a show, most competitors just get in their head so much. You just get so much in your head about the show and thinking about this and thinking about that. And you get anxiety in the last few weeks, you're not even sleeping. And sometimes they blame the drugs for it. But honestly, it's not so much the drugs. It's more the fact that you just have too much on your mind. It's your mind that's affecting you, not so much the drugs. So with all this, sleep has been a huge one, and I plan on transferring this to my future preps and shows. And I've learned so much from this prep about myself, about what works for me. I'll give you guys an example. Insulin. A lot of people believe you don't need insulin while prepping. Let me tell you, I tried it from the beginning. The first 8 weeks of this 16-week prep, I used no insulin. Things were just slow. I just wasn't looking as good. I wasn't sure why. I wasn't losing the body fat in the places that I wanted to. Started using it, boom. Instantly, body fat right where I wanted it to come off of was coming off. This really cemented in me how much I love using insulin for prepping year-round. Insulin's one of my favorite drugs. I was using a combination of Lantus and Humalog. GH, something else I didn't address, 8 units the entire prep. 8 units a day of pharma GH. Now, I was also, God, what was I touching on? Sorry. Oh, for this peak. So, for the peak, the pictures I just took a few days ago, it was a little bit different. So, usually I don't like, I like to play it safe with peaking. I think if this was a real show, I probably wouldn't have done this. But this year I thought, you know what, I'm going to try something different. So I literally peaked on following my high carb day, but instead of the pancakes that I normally have, I filled that up with similar macros in terms of carbs from cookies and brownies. But what I did was I was allowing for that extra fat from the cookies and brownies to be in there. And the reason why, because I wanted to really fill out. I'm a guy who has a good metabolism and I burn through a ton of food. And sometimes I could be eating carbs and carbs and carbs, and they just won't stick. Now, it's not a bad thing for when it comes to a refeed or when it comes to boosting the metabolism. But when it comes to actually carbing up and looking nice, big, and full, I want that to stick. So what I did was I allowed those extra calories to come from fat. So I was eating cookies and brownies pretty much the last 2 days before those pictures. I was eating a ton of them. And my normal refeed day, again, I would just remove the calories from the pancakes and the carbs from the pancakes, replace that with carbs from cookies and brownies, and then allow for the extra calories from the fat. I did that 2 days in a row. Now, mind you, I know my body well enough. Most people will not, if you do things probably, you don't need a diuretic. For me, I can be a watery person, especially in the midsection. So I took half a diazide the night before taking the final set of pictures. Just half a diazide, filled out really well over 2 days, and boom, that's the last set of pictures. So I'm really, really happy with the look, guys. I'm super happy with how this prep went. Couldn't be more grateful to God. Couldn't be more grateful to those people around me. And just learned a lot more about my body, how to peak properly. I mean, I pride myself in peaking people in the best possible way. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. So thanks to God and all the people around me who helped me. And now it's time to get back to the off season, put on some more size, and then come in next year. I would love to come in at a solid on stage. If I could step on stage between 230 to 240, I think that would be a really dangerous super heavyweight at 5'7" at Canadian Nationals. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Please continue following and share if you'd like it.